The first social anxiety tool that I'd like to talk about is honesty. You've probably noticed that the more dishonest you are with yourself or with others, the more anxiety you feel. Honesty has a direct influence on our level of anxiety. It pushes our level of anxiety right down. And I'm going to explain why this is happening and how you can apply this to decrease your anxiety. We live in a very dishonest society. Our society has rules about how we're supposed to feel and how we're supposed to behave as a woman or as a man in every single situation. And in most of these situations, what it means is ignoring how we really feel, ignoring who we really are, and pretending to be someone we're not. Pretending to feel something we don't feel, talking about things that we don't really want to talk about. We are often forced into a dishonest situation where we're ignoring what's going on inside of us and we're playing the role that our society expects us to play. We're pretending to feel what we're supposed to feel. We're pretending to be who we're supposed to be, and we're saying what we're supposed to say in this situation, or we're feeling bad because we're not, right? And so this means that we have been trained to live most of our lives in this state of dishonesty. And so when I talk about dishonesty, I'm referring to this. And so what's super important in overcoming social anxiety is to become a more honest person. First of all, be honest with yourself. What am I feeling right now? Can I say it? What am I thinking right now? Can I say it? Am I being my true self in this situation, or am I pretending to be someone I'm not? The more honest we can be about what we really feel and who we really are, the less clutter we have going around in our heads, right? As well as the less shame we feel, right? Because our inside is congruent to what we're showing on the outside. So we have less clutter in our head, we feel less shame, and that makes our level of anxiety go down. So I had social anxiety before I became a mother. And so what I would do, and I suffered for 5 years without finding a solution. Like nobody could help me. Psychologists, psychiatrists, nobody. And then when I was 26, what I learned to do was and I couldn't talk about my friends about my anxiety symptoms themselves. Like you can't say to your friend, people make me anxious, especially my friends. You are making me anxious. Like what can they do with that? Nothing. So what you have to learn to do with social anxiety is address what else? What am I really feeling? What's underneath the anxiety? And talk about that with my friend. And so whenever I'd start feeling anxiety, and it's really hard to talk about what we really feel because we're not used to it. You know, we've been living under feeling rules, like really strict feeling rules for all of our life. So in order to be able to identify and talk about what we're really feeling, like it's hard. And so you can even talk about that. Say, I'm really trying to talk about what I really feel, and it's really hard. So if it's coming out really sloppily and I'm stuttering or whatever, just please forgive me. I'm just not used to doing this. But I'm trying, you know. So just be as honest as you can, even to that level, right? And what I used to have to do is I actually had to go to the bathroom. So I'd feel anxiety. I'd have to go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, and be like, okay, Marni. Like I'd actually have to remove myself from the situation temporarily and think, okay, what am I really feeling right now? And then it would become clear. It wouldn't be crystal clear. I'd still have to fumble over my words to try to get it out. But the general direction, the general topic would become clear. So then I'd go back to my friend and I'd be as honest as I could right away before we got into any other topics. I got as honest as I could by saying, I've had a really bad day. You know, I went to the playgroup today and my child was misbehaving so bad, and I felt so much shame. I felt people were looking at me and judging me, and I became paralyzed, and like I can't talk about anything else right now. Like all I can think about is that, right? Talk about what we really feel. That was just an example, you know. And I was so bad at it at the beginning. Like I could hardly find my words. And now look at me now, right? Like I talk about emotions as if it's like any old topic, right? So you do get better at it. And that's why I'm pretty good at it, is because this is how I overcame one of the worst forms of anxiety you could ever imagine. Like if you are scared of everybody, especially your best friend, so you can't become friends with anybody, basically. That's what I had. And now I talk about emotions like they're nothing, right? So yeah, there is hope. Take a bathroom break, identify what you're feeling, come back and talk about what you're really feeling with the person you're with in the moment. So what honesty does is it simplifies our cognitive brain. Okay, so by being honest with ourselves and being honest with others, we have much less thoughts and clutter in our brain, right? Like dishonesty requires a whole lot of mental activity, you know, performing, trying to be someone we're not, and anything that is not completely and utterly honest. And so by being honest with ourselves and by being honest with others, now honesty can differ based on the situation. So if you're with a friend, it might mean being truly honest about what you're really feeling in that moment. But if you're at work, it could just mean being honest that you're not having a great day, right? Not putting on a fake smile and you know what I mean? Like it depends on the situation, but often it also means being honest with ourselves. And so what this does is it simplifies our cognitive brain, but it does something else in the limbic brain. So what honesty does is it prevents shame from coming back. It prevents new shames from coming in, and it just keeps shame at the lowest possible level possible. Because when we're being secretive about things, we assume that maybe there's something we have to be ashamed of. But when we're being honest about things, then there's no room for shame to come into the picture, right? So honesty is super important in both simplifying our cognitive brain and by preventing shame from coming into our limbic brain.